Peter was depending upon himself. At that moment, 14:1, when I was in the 5th grade, going to vacation Bible school, we memorized John 14:1. Let not your heart be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. Why did Jesus say that? Because they were troubled. Duh. Peter was getting a little stressed. You're going away and I can't come. Now you're telling me that I'm going to deny you? I'm getting a little anxious about this whole scenario. And Jesus looks right into all of their hearts, but especially Peter's heart, and says, I'm commanding you, Peter, to control your fear and your anxiety and your depression and all the negative emotions. I'm commanding you to control them right now. That's what it's saying, guys. What we need to do is we need to understand that when Jesus sends the Spirit of God into our lives and gives us access to the very life of Christ through that Spirit, we can keep every command He gives us. This tells me several things. God doesn't want emotionally unstable believers. He doesn't want people struggling with fear and anxiety and worry and anger and hatred and resentment and bitterness and depression and despair. He wants all those things controlled. But you can't control it. Just like you think you can go do this yourself. No, you can't go do this here. How do you control your emotions? Let not your heart be troubled. What's the next word?
Believe.
Believe. Either faith will cast out fear, or fear is going to cast out faith. My good friend, when he was at Dallas Seminary, did a study on fear. And I love bottom lines like this. He said, here's my bottom line, Dale. If you fear God, you won't have reason to fear anything else. Problem is, we don't fear God. Fear God in what way? Reverence Him. Understand His majesty. Understand His greatness. Understand what He has promised to do for His children. Fear Him in that way. Fall before Him on your face. Fear God, and you'll have no reason to fear anything else or anybody else. Go back and look at Psalm 27, verses 1 to 3. David is saying, even when the enemy camp against me, I don't fear them. Who are they compared to my God? He's on the run. No problem. Isaiah 41, verse 10. He says, let the righteous right hand of God lift you up. Fear not, for I am with you. My righteous right hand will sustain you. You believe that? If you do, it'll keep you from fearing. The word here for trouble, you don't know this, but you saw that word earlier in the book of John. That same word is used in John 5 at the pool of Bethsaida. When the angel was supposed to come down according to tradition and stir the water up, that's the word that's used here. Guys, have you ever felt your stomach churn, just kind of turn over? That's what's happening in the upper room. And Jesus looks right into their heart and sees that turmoil and says, don't let this be taking place. Believe. Believe in God, believe also in me. Notice the connection again. You're not supposed to separate Jesus from the Father or the Father from Jesus. Believe in God, If I were to translate that verse, by the way, I'd say, believe in God and in me believe. There's an emphasis. Believe in God and in me believe. Don't separate us. So he says, you can control your emotions right now. That's the first word of encouragement that he gives you in the outline. If they trusted in God, they could have peace right now. So the answer to verse 1 is verse 27. Look down in verse 27. What's that say?
Peace.
My peace I give you, not as the world gives. And then he repeats himself. Let not your heart be troubled, nor let it be fearful. If I believe what he has promised to do in me and for me, I can have peace. I can rest. Second thing is, he says, guess what? I'm going away, but I'm going on a purpose, or for a purpose, to complete a goal. I'm going to the Father's house to prepare a place for you. Anybody have an old King James, or even a New King James? Read verse 2. I'm hoping that the New King James...
In my Father's house there are many mansions.
That's it. Don't even go any further. My New American Standard just says that there are many dwelling places. That King James says there are many mansions. Guys, I have in my notes that I'm going to add in here is, I wonder if that was intentional or a fortuitous mistake. Wonder if that was... It occurs to me that what Jesus could be saying here to the apostles, so if you want the same thing, be a man like the apostles. You with me on this? This isn't being given to everybody. It's a promise being given to those who have followed Jesus. Not only believed in him, but have followed him. Not every believer follows Jesus. Sorry. Just not true that they do. In my Father's house, could it be that he's talking about the New Jerusalem? In my Father's house, there are many extraordinary places. You talking about a holy high-rise? This is the holy high-rise. It's 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles. Think about it. A city that goes from here, Dallas, Texas, to Boston, Massachusetts. One city. And it's a square. Every corner of it is 1,500 miles. And it's also 1,500 miles high. Obviously, things have got to change for me to live 1,500 miles up in the high rise. You know, the penthouse is supposed to be on the top floor today. Wonder if the penthouse might not be on the bottom floor in those days. I don't know, guys. Okay? I would hate to have to look down with these eyes from 1,500 miles up. But the whole world is going to be different, is my point. He's going to not to build a place, he's going to prepare a place. That means he's going to furnish it. If you will not only believe in Jesus but walk with him, he says there's going to be a place in my Father's high-rise that's going to be perfectly outfitted for you.